This is an AI-generated video. The characters and voices you see are not real. However, the facts, ideas, and discussions presented are based on thorough research and genuine sources. Our goal is to offer you a debate that is both informative and entertaining. And if you like the video, please subscribe to this channel. In this debate, an egg, who is a supporter of abortion rights and bodily autonomy, takes on a sperm who is against it. So let's start.
Before we even begin, let's get one thing clear. I exist within a body. A living, breathing, thinking woman. I am not just biology. I am potential, yes. But my host, the woman, is not a vessel. She is not just a carrier of future life. Her autonomy, her will, her choice, they are sacred.
And yet, when I meet you, one, when fertilization happens, what are we if not life beginning? The moment we unite, we form something utterly unique, a zygote with its own DNA, its own trajectory. You speak of autonomy, but doesn't this new life also have the right to exist? Even before breath, isn't that spark still sacred?
Oh, so now every cell with potential is sacred? Then let's go all the way. Nature made sex a reproductive act, right? So technically, every time you use birth control, you're denying a potential life its shot at existence. Isn't that sin in your book? And let's not forget me. Every month, I arrive in the uterus like a hopeful guest, waiting. And every month, if I'm not fertilized, I'm expelled. By your logic, menstruation must be a monthly massacre. Should we start holding funerals for every period?
You're witty. I'll give you that. But confusing natural biological processes with deliberate moral choices? That's a classic dodge. Yes, not every sperm fertilizes. Yes, not every egg is met. That's nature. That's chance. But abortion isn't nature. It's an interventiona conscious decision to end what's already begun.
And what about the woman whose body you claim this right from? What about the rape survivor whose trauma is carved deep inside her, now told to carry the weight of a violation for 9 more months, and perhaps a lifetime after? What about the young girl whose childhood is shattered by a pregnancy she didn't choose? Are their lives secondary to your concept of potential?
Their suffering is real, and I do not dismiss it. But why must the solution be more death? The horror is the violence done to them, not the life that follows. Can we not create a society where motherhood doesn't mean ruin, where support and dignity are offered freely, not through surgical escape?
But you speak from the comfort of never having to bear that weight. Pregnancy isn't just a condition, it is transformation, physically, emotionally, socially, and sometimes dangerously. If continuing a pregnancy endangers her life, her health, or her future, should we really place the survival of a heartbeat above her existence?
Okay. Then let me ask you this. Is convenience more important than creation? Should temporary suffering justify permanent erasure? Isn't there something solemn, perhaps even sacred, in allowing a life to run its course, even if it came from chaos?
Ethics evolve. So does our understanding of life. We no longer burn witches or deny women the vote. Morality is not written in stone. It grows with us. And so must our compassion for the woman who is already here, already thinking, already suffering or dreaming. Her voice cannot be drowned out by a cluster of cells that does not yet think, feel, or live on its own. What's sacred is choice, and the courage to give women full agency over their own bodies, not half, not conditional, not debated in courtrooms or by biology, but full. If she chooses to carry, let it be her grace. If she chooses to let go, let it be her strength, not her shame. You know what's strange? That it's mostly men who write laws about abortion. Men who will never carry a child. Men who can walk away after sex while the woman bears everything, body changes, risk, pain, shame, and somehow it's still her autonomy that gets questioned.
Okay, that's a valid grievance. Historically, men have dominated the narrative. But is that the fault of life itself? Should a fetus lose the right to live because men are often irresponsible? Shouldn't we fix the structure, not end the life?
But don't you see? The very push against abortion often benefits male comfort more than female empowerment. If a woman can't choose abortion, she must carry the child even when the man disappears. It's not about valuing life. It's about controlling who carries the burden of creating it. And guess who never does?
No, that's not always true. There are fathers who stay, who support, who want the child. But yes, you're right. There are many who don't want to take the responsibility of the child. Yet instead of encouraging more accountability from men, abortion just removes the outcome. Isn't that in some ways letting men off the hook?
Oh, the irony. You criticize abortion for being a male plot, but men gain sexual freedom anyway. The real question is, if we deny abortion, do we force women into motherhood not as a blessing, but as punishment for having sex? It's 2025, and still society shames women for pleasure while celebrating it for men.
You speak of freedom. But freedom to end life? Shouldn't we build a world where having a child doesn't mean giving up dreams, education, or safety? Why not create policies, paid maternity leave, free childcare, social support so women don't feel abortion is their only way out?
I'd love that world. I dream of that world. But we don't live there yet. And until that world exists, forcing a woman to give birth is a form of systemic violence. It's not nurturing life, it's neglecting hers.
In the book of Jeremiah, God says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." For many, this isn't just poetry, it's belief. It means life, soul, and personhood begin not at birth, but even before the womb. Can faith be dismissed as just personal bias?
Faith is powerful, but it's personal. Laws should not be. Not everyone believes what one religion says. Should a Christian woman in Texas, a Muslim woman in Delhi, and an atheist in Sweden all be judged by the same theological yardstick? Religion can guide hearts, but law must protect freedom.
But the law also protects the vulnerable. If the fetus is a human scientifically distinct, genetically unique wedos, it deserves rights too. We punish people for killing babies. Isn't abortion just an earlier version of the same?
That depends on your definition of personhood. Is a heartbeat enough? Or a brainwave? What about consciousness? Self-awareness? A fetus feels no fear, no thought, no memory. And even then, it lives inside another human being. Her consent must come first. No one has the right to occupy another's body without it not even potential life.
So, according to you, the boundary of life is consent, not biology?
Exactly. Rights begin after you're born, because then you're independent. Before that, you are part of someone else's body. You exist inside her life, her world, her will. And feminism, the real Kindis, not just about having the right to work or vote, but to say, I will not give up my body for something I did not choose.
But then what happens to compassion? What happens to non-violence? If feminism is about equality and care, shouldn't we extend it even to those who cannot speak, cannot plead, cannot fight for themselves?
That's where you misunderstand. Feminism isn't about violence. Abortion is not about killing. It's about not forcing. It's about saying no one should have power over a woman's uterus, except herself. We don't call turning off a life support machine murder. We call it choice, dignity, autonomy. The same logic applies here.
Let me cut to it. You defend abortion as autonomy, but I say it's abandonment. A fetus has no choice, no voice, and yet we strip it of life before it even opens its eyes to the world. If personhood begins only after birth, then where do we draw the line? At 8 months? 7? At what point does choice become a mask for convenience?
Convenience? Don't reduce this. You think women choose abortion like they choose coffee? Abortion is not convenience, it's consequence. Of poverty, of rape, of fear, of failed contraception. No woman celebrates it, but every woman deserves the right to make that decision, without begging for moral permission.
So let's end the debate here. It's been fascinating to listen to both the speakers. And now to the audience. Which speaker convinced you the most? Write your verdict in the comment section.